Welcome to Agents of Screen, the first and only place for movie, TV show reviews, any kind of reviews. You know how we go in Agents of Screen. Today, we are going to be talking about Batwoman. Usually I wait until the whole series is finished, but since it's on mid-season review, I thought I'd give my mid-season thoughts about the show and how it is up until now. Just so you know, this is a full spoiler review. So if you have not watched this, do not listen to this if you do not want to know any spoilers about the plot, characters, anything about the show. If you want, feel free to skip to the end of the review where I will give my final score so far about the mid-season review. I will put an annotation in the description for where I will give my final thoughts, so that way you don't have to watch the spoiler reviews. Alright, you've been warned. Alright, cool, let's do this. So before I even saw a trailer for Batwoman, I was quite interested in the show, mostly because of the actress that was doing it. So the actress that plays Batwoman is called Ruby Rose. I've known her for two things that I've watched. One is Orange is the New Black, where she was a prisoner inside, I think it was season 2, maybe season 3, I could be wrong on that. And the second one is for John Wick 2, where she was a mute fighter. I have to say, that fight scene in John Wick 2 was sick! Oh my days. Ruby Rose was not having it, especially considering that she was fighting John Wick. I mean, John Wick does not play at all. My guy, Keanu Reeves. But that being said, I knew that when she was casted to play Kate Kane as Batwoman, I knew it was going to be in good hands. Brilliant choice for an actress, great role for her, everything was going smoothly along. However, for some reason, there was a massive backlash on the fact that people were complaining that Ruby Rose was not lesbian enough, she wasn't Jewish, therefore she could not play Kate Kane. That is, for me putting it politely, goddamn ridiculous. Because I'm not being funny. So she responded saying that she came out at 12 and she's been ostracized for being too gay. So now people saying that she's not gay enough, or the fact that she's not Jewish. I think people need to calm down. People really need to calm down. But this is how people are on the internet, and it's always going to be like that. But you know what? It's cool. You do your thing, Ruby. We all know that you're a bad bitch. It's all good. Moving on from that garbage situation, let's actually get into the good bits. Let's start talking about Batwoman.
Tommy wants Batman. The city needs Batman. And I'm not Batman. But maybe I'm better, because I'm here.
Now this is a quite interesting story for the Batman universe. In this version of Batman, Batman has been gone for years. Might as well just dropped off a cliff and died off. We have no idea where he's gone to. All we know is that Gotham has been missing Batman for years. Meanwhile, Kate has been outside of Gotham for years as well, training her body and her mind in many different locations. Kind of like Bruce as well, funny enough, how he always also trained himself before he even became Batman, which is quite interesting. So she's been training herself, and then all of a sudden, something starts happening in Gotham. A new person called Alice starts terrorizing Gotham and kidnaps Kate's previous girlfriend, Sophie. Due to this, when Kate finds out, she now has to come back to Gotham after all these years. So Kate comes back, sees her dad, and she wants to try and help out. Her dad is not having none of it. The whole reason why she left all those years in the first place is because she wanted to join the military group her dad had in the first place. And he's not having none of it. He doesn't want her help whatsoever because he's worried about his daughter. But that ain't gonna stop Kate now, is it? So she starts trying to find out and investigate things herself, which leads her to Bruce Wayne Towers, where she finds out her cousin is also gone for many years and has not been seen since. She gets the footage she needs because Bruce Wayne has cameras in areas around the city, obviously, because Batman's a don. Even after showing this footage where Sophie got captured, her dad still doesn't want her help. So again, she takes it into her own hands. So she goes back up to Bruce Wayne Towers where she meets Luke Fox again. And this is where she discovers that Batman and Bruce Wayne are one and the same. Now, just a little bit further background on this. We see some flashbacks in like the first few episodes where Kate and her father have always had a disdain towards Batman. And that is because there was an accident when Kate was just a little girl. Her sister and her mum were in the car on a bridge and there was an accident. And she was the only one that survived. And Batman tried to save them but was unable to, only to save Kate. And he never forgave himself for that. But they never forgave Batman ever for that whole situation. But now she feels all kinds of ways. And then Luke then tries to explain everything, how Batman tried to save them, explain the whole situation, how he still has never gotten over this whole situation when he tried to do that. And it's now changed Kate's perspective on Batman as a whole, especially now that she finds out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, her own cousin. With this in mind, she sees the bat suit and she wants in. If she can't help out through working with her father, she's gonna do it on her own. She asks Luke to fix up the suit so it fits her, and then she starts going doing her own business. And as you can say, the rest is history. What I thought about the story so far has been quite interesting, but also I have kind of expected some situations to be kind of predictable. Down the line, I think not even about 3 episodes in, we see that Alice is actually Kate's sister. I mean, it seemed a bit suspicious at first why she was only targeting Kate's father and then attacking their company, terrorizing all this shit. Sophie, keeping Kate alive even though she was deading off every single other person she was capturing, fun with her crew. So it did seem a bit suspicious, but then when things started to get even further, I was like, yeah, it's definitely her. And then lo and behold, yeah, it's definitely her. It is 100% Kate's sister. But what also seems to be a very interesting running trend with CW shows, which I personally find ridiculous, is that they love exposing the hero's identity. This is a constant thing now for CW. They always reveal the hero's identity to so many people, whether it's a villain or a personal friend. Hero's identity always gets found out. I mean, in Flash, how many times has Barry taken off his mask after the villain has escaped? Like, why are you taking off your mask for? Shouldn't you wait until you get back to your base? What if someone sees you and finds out you're the Flash? Like, it's all too convenient why no one ever sees him when he takes off his mask. And he does it regularly when he's out and about. But yeah, it's insane. I find it weird that they just constantly have superheroes unmasking themselves, revealing themselves to their friends and enemies. Like, Alice found out that Batwoman was Kate, I think in like episode 4, or maybe even less than that. I think it was 4 or 5. Like, that is insane. So now that Alice knows that Kate is Batwoman, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Like, you're not supposed to know her identity. You knowing that she is Kate gives you power to be able to terrorize her family, her friends, everything. I mean, what happened to back in the day in the comic book and cartoon, like the old school cartoon Justice League, like the DC animated universe, when secret identities were never exposed? Like, I just don't get anymore. Maybe this is just a new thing. Everyone should just know everyone's secret identity. But why are you wearing a mask for? Just say you're Kate Kane, you're Batwoman, just get over and done with, innit? One more thing I just wanted to bring up with regards to the story as well is that it does seem quite predictable in terms of the outcome. So at the moment, Kate has been trying to get her sister to see the light, to see a better version of herself from where she has currently been at. Now you start to see slivers of a better version of Alice. In her own way, she is trying to help out Kate, make sure that she doesn't get hurt, make sure that she's always protected, but she still does it in her own evil villain ways. An example of this is when there was a gun made that was able to penetrate the Batsuit. Yeah, apparently Batsuit in this universe is practically unstoppable. course, because Batman's a Don, but there was a gun made in case the Batsuit was taken. So Alice found the scientists who made the gun and killed them all, along with destroying all the bullets that could actually be used to kill Kate with this gun, making it useless. So in her way, she is trying to help, but through her own twisted ways. Now, it looks like what will probably happen at the end of the season is that Alice will eventually turn good, or at least good enough for her to not be as evil as before. Now, her partner in crime called Mouse has the ability to look exactly like anyone he wants to be, including having the mannerisms of them and sounding exactly like them. And he is insane as hell, and he has attachment issues towards Alice and hates Kate with a passion. Now, he is a absolutely insane person, and I suspect when it comes to the season finale, quote me on this, it's going to come down to where Alice has to choose if she's going to stick with Mouse or is she going to kill Kate. And we're going to find out if she's going to be with her sister or not. For all we know, Alice might even get killed at the end of the season because she decides to choose Kate over Mouse. And then Mouse then kills off Alice. These are most likely the scenarios because of how predictable it is. Now, that's not to say that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it is a predictable storyline based on what I've seen so far. That being said, what I've seen so far with the show in terms of storyline is the fight scenes have been on point. Batwoman in this show is absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to finding out what happens after the mid-season finale.
You're not Batman.
That's the point.
So first of all, I just want to say in terms of positives, Ruby Rose has been a great actress so far for this show. She's done a brilliant job of being Kate Kane, absolutely excellent job of being Batwoman. The evolution of Batwoman throughout the show has been great. So starting off with changing the suit to literally just fit her for like, to eventually evolving the suit to be fitting to look exactly like how Batwoman looks like in the comics right now. And that is amazing. I have seen that they've given her a metal bow staff, which she keeps on deliberately breaking off in half because she prefers it in terms of combat wise to be able to change things up, exactly like Nightwing has. Hopefully, this actually changes when Luke finally realizes for himself that Batman and Batwoman are two different people and they fight differently. That also has been quite an evolution for him himself as a character as well, because he keeps on thinking that Batman and Batwoman seem to be the same thing. They should be doing the same things. But slowly throughout the season, he realizes that they are different in terms of changing the Batsuit to fit her appropriately, changing how Batman's weapons work as well. So like the Batarang was made for people with longer arms, which Batman has compared to Kate, which is why it never came back to her when she was thrown it the first time. Eventually, Luke realized this and changed it appropriately so it would work for her. These are the things that Luke is finally accepting to slowly realize that Batman and Batwoman are two different people. And he has to treat them as individual people with different styles, different ways of fighting, different weapons. And that's a great thing about Batwoman that I've seen so far. But overall in total, I just want to say the character development for those two have been really good. They're a great dynamic together, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from the mid-season break. Another positive I wanted to mention is that I like the nods they've given to the Batman mythology. They have mentioned many things and dropped many characters in here so far. They mentioned Penguin being here, how he used to be previous mayor. They mentioned Joker as well, one of his aliases, Jack Napier. It's been great to know that people have been paying attention to the Batman mythology in this show and not making it just some random show without having any nods or mention to any of the Batman mythology, because even though Batman is not in it and it is about Batwoman, it still involves Gotham and the people around it, and I really appreciate what they've done to bring everything together and accept that as a whole. With that said, I do want to just mention some negatives. So as before, like I said, one of the problems that I've had is the classic love interest that happens during the show. So in the show, Sophie and Kate used to be together in military school. They got found out. You're not allowed to have any type of lesbian or gay relationships whatsoever in this military school, and they had to state that they were not lesbians, they were not in a relationship. They had to state they were not in a relationship with each other. However, Kate did not want to do this. She wanted to say otherwise. She was going to get Sophie to talk her into doing this as well. They were going to come out together and state that they both disagree with this. However, Kate's dad talked Sophie out of this because at the end of the day, Kate would be fine regardless if she left or not, because she has money, her dad's accepting of her regardless whether she chooses to or not, and she would have been fine. However, for Sophie, she does not have the kind of support that Kate does. Her family are not so accepting of that kind of relationship. She would not be able to have, financially, she would not be able to survive, and this was her dream. So as such, Sophie decided to stay in the military, deny the relationship, and even broke away from Kate, leaving her to her own devices. After this, Sophie was then able to be in the military group with Kate's dad and has risen the ranks through hard work and determination. She also has now got a husband, even though deep down she knows she is a lesbian and she loves Kate. So throughout the show, you essentially have a love triangle with Sophie, Sophie's husband, and Kate. For me personally, this is quite a predictable love interest story that seems to be happening on quite a few shows, which is why it's personally a negative for me. It's not something that's new, and it's something that happens on a regular basis, which is why I find it a bit boring with regards to the story plot. With that in mind, let's go into my final thoughts about the show so far. In terms of scoring, I'm giving this show a 7 out of 10. The story isn't that bad. I like that they've included the Batman ethos into the story. Ruby Rose is a brilliant actress and she's done a great job of being Batwoman. The evolution for Batwoman throughout this show has been amazing. I'm looking forward to the continuation from mid-season finale. However, there are those two issues of mine which I do think are predictable ending story for the season or potential season 2 if they extend it, and the love triangle that is currently in the show as well, which we all know where it's going to go, either between Kate and Sophie get together, probably not this season, maybe the next season or the season after that, or she decides to stick with her husband, which, to be honest, most likely is not going to happen. Really not. But that doesn't take away from what they've done so far in this show. In my opinion, it is definitely a strong CW show that they've done so far. As of the CW shows right now, in terms of superhero shows, it goes Arrow, Batwoman, Flash, and when Legends of Tomorrow starts, that'll be at the bottom. But that being said though, I am looking forward to the ending of Crisis on Infinite Earths. It started at the end of this year, and I have to say it has started strong. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing a review with you guys next year when it finishes off. Me and Rob are hopefully going to be able to do a podcast review of Crisis of Infinite Earth. But don't worry, there will be a review regardless if it's a podcast or not. We have to talk about this crossover. Definitely, in my opinion, without saying anything else, one of the best crossovers so far that CW has done. After all that's said and done, that has been my review of Batwoman. Thanks for watching. This is James of Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N signing off. Peace.
Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Yeah, I'm dead.